Hey guys, welcome to this video. It's Rishi here. The iPhone 12 and the Galaxy S21 are two premium phone offerings from Apple and Samsung. They have most of the features their higher end variants have, but for hundreds of dollars cheaper. Apple just released the iPhone 13 and Samsung released the Z Fold 3 and the Z Flip 3 just a few weeks ago. So the prices of the iPhone 12 and the Galaxy S21 will have dropped even further. Plus, it's safer to buy a smartphone that has been in the market for a decent amount of time to see if it has any flaws. So in this video, we're going to see how well both the Samsung Galaxy S21 and iPhone 12 have held up after 8 months. And I'm going to be sharing my experiences and opinions on these phones in this 8-month journey. So let's get started. These are the specs of the iPhone 12 and the Galaxy S21. The S21 model I have is rocking a Snapdragon 888, but if you live outside of North America or South Korea, you will get an Samsung Exynos 2100 chip. The S21 has 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, a 4000 mAh battery, a 6.2-inch AMOLED display, and an Adreno 660 GPU on the Snapdragon 888 for $800. On the other hand, the iPhone 12 is rocking an A14 Bionic chip worldwide. The iPhone 12 has 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage, 2815 mAh of battery, a 6.1-inch AMOLED display, and a A14 Bionic GPU for $830 unlocked. Although the S21 has double the RAM, performance is going to be similar because iOS is more optimized. Unfortunately, both phones don't have a headphone jack, and the S21 doesn't come with expandable storage this year, while the iPhone 12 has never had that. One of the most obvious differences between both phones is in build quality. The iPhone 12 has glass on the back and aluminum on the sides, while the S21 has Glastic, which is plastic made to look like glass. Most users would prefer glass on such a premium priced phone rather than plastic, but in reality, if you drop your phone, the plastic is going to do better than the glass. Moreover, glass backs are more prone to fingerprints. On front of the screen, the S21 has Gorilla Glass Victus, while the iPhone 12 has its new ceramic shield, and both are equally good. The S21 is wider and taller than the iPhone, but not a noticeable difference. We have the power button on the right side and the volume rocker, silent mode switch, and the SIM card tray on the left here on the iPhone. But on the S21, you have all the buttons on the right and the SIM card tray at the bottom. It's harder to differentiate the power button and the volume rocker on the S21, but once you get used to it, it'll be a breeze. In terms of SIM card tray placement, I'm rooting for the iPhone 12 again, because if you're ejecting the SIM, you might accidentally press into the speaker grills on the S21, which is not good. This happened to me once when I first got the S21. Both phones have IP68 water resistance ratings, so both are up to par. One more thing is that if you're going to hold the iPhone 12 for a long time, it's going to create a mark on your palm. But if you're going to put on a phone case, that's not going to be a problem. For the final verdict, I'm going to call it a tie because the main difference between these two is the glass and plastic backing, and different users have different opinions on that. So I'm going to leave that up to you. For displays on both phones, we have some of the most gorgeous looking displays on a smartphone. The Galaxy S21 features a 6.2-inch Full HD AMOLED display at 421 pixels per inch, while the iPhone 12 has a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display at a random resolution slightly higher than Full HD at 460 pixels per inch. The S21's OLED panels were made by Samsung itself, while the iPhone 12's OLED panels were made by LG, so there ought to be some difference. I compared both displays using an HDR video made specially to test OLED screens, and the S21's display was better when showing the black color, while the iPhone 12's was brighter. Each phone's display looked better at different points, but still, I can't conclude one as a winner. The biggest difference between these displays is the refresh rate. The 120Hz on the S21 gives a much better experience when using the phone when compared to just 60Hz on the iPhone 12, especially for phone gamers. Although if you want to save battery life, you can set the S21 to 60Hz. The S21 also has another cool feature called adaptive refresh rate, where the phone's refresh rate can go as low as 48 Hz when not needed to conserve battery life. On the screen, the S21 has a good-looking camera punch hole setup, while the iPhone 12 has an ugly notch, which looks dated. Other than the notch and punch hole, both phones are bezel-less. So for this round, even though both displays were good, the S21 wins because of the 120Hz display and having the better-looking punch hole cutout. Next up is battery performance and charging speed on both phones. This is the difference between battery size, but this is the difference in battery life. The reason that iPhone has more battery life per milliamp hour is because 1. iOS is more optimized compared to Android, and 2. the S21 has a 120Hz screen compared to just 60Hz on the iPhone. As you see here, the iPhone 12 lasts around 6 hours and 45 minutes in mixed usage, while the S21 lasts around 7 hours. So it's a 15-minute difference. The iPhone 12 has a Lightning connector for wired charging, while the S21 has USB-C. This year, both the iPhone 12 and the S21 doesn't come with a charging adapter because it's going to help save the environment. Right. The S21 has reverse wireless charging. The iPhone 12 doesn't have that option. For charging, the iPhone 12 supports up to 22 watts charging when wired and up to 15 watts wirelessly using MagSafe. The S21, on the other hand, supports a little bit higher 25 watt wired charging. The S21 charged in 1 hour and 12 minutes, while the iPhone 12 charged in 1 hour and 45 minutes. If you're an OnePlus or Xiaomi user, you might be disappointed because their latest phones support crazy numbers like 65 watt charging, while these two phones have such a low number. The disadvantage of these fast charging phones is that the more faster the charging, the more heat will be produced. And if your battery overheats due to this, your battery's lifespan and the battery life per charge will reduce. The winner of this round is the S21 because it charges faster, it has reverse wireless charging, and it lasts more by a slight margin. For the speakers, I played a song and compared it on both phones, and here are the results. To me, the S21 is louder and sounds better, although the iPhone 12 is almost as equally as good. Now let's test the built-in microphone. This is the audio sample from the iPhone 12's microphone without any audio enhancing. This is the audio sample from the S21's microphone, again without any audio enhancing. To me, both phones had equally good quality. So the S21 wins this round due to its speakers. When it comes to performance, both phones perform extremely well. I'm literally holding the two best phone processors on the planet right now. So, both phones will perform superbly for pretty much any task. But for gaming, the maxed out GPU performance along with the CPU performance is important. So, I did a 3D Mark benchmark for you gamers. The S21 scores an impressive 5013, while the iPhone 12 scored an awe-striking 7736. The iPhone 12 is a monster when it comes to performance, but that doesn't in any means make the S21 bad. The S21 is a monster, but just a smaller one than the iPhone 12. So, obviously, the winner of this round is the iPhone 12. Next is the most important thing for a smartphone nowadays, and that's the camera. Before we start with the camera comparison, we have to give credit to Samsung for the Samsung camera app. There are a whole lot of options here in the camera app. For example, food mode for taking photos of your supper, or director's view which shows footage from all the S21's cameras simultaneously. And obviously, both phones can scan QR codes with the built-in app. Okay, now let's get to the camera specs. We have a 10MP selfie camera on the S21 and a 12MP selfie camera on the iPhone 12. The iPhone 12 has two rear cameras, one is a wide angle and the other is an ultra wide angle, which both have 12MP sensors. The S21 has three rear cameras. One is a wide angle and the other one is an ultra wide angle, both with 12MP sensors like the iPhone. The third is a telephoto camera with 64MP. Although I wasn't able to do a proper camera test because I was in my house because of something called COVID-19, I got a reasonable idea of what each is good at. The S21 crushes the iPhone 12 when taking zoom photos. There are more details in the S21's photos than the iPhone 12, even when it comes to background details. iPhone 12 takes more brighter photos, which is good in some situations but not in others. Edge detection on both phones is good. Both phones have good cameras, but the contrast on the S21 is better. The iPhone 12 has warm or white balance, but the S21 nails it when it comes to focus. In night mode, both phones are equal. None is better than the other. Both phones can take up to 4K 60 FPS, but the Samsung is the only one that can take 8K, which is enormous. But 8K is limited because you can only take it at 24 FPS and you can't zoom in. Remember this clip from earlier from the build quality round? Both of these videos were taken using these phones in the same lighting conditions. But the iPhone 12 has this weird flicker in the background. I don't know the reason for that, but in other aspects, the iPhone 12 is slightly better in terms of video quality. This round ends with a tie because some people like Apple's image and video processing, and some people like Samsung's processing. So that's going to depend on your taste. When it comes to software, both are good in different ways. iOS is more focused on simplicity and aesthetics, while Android is more focused on customizability and variety. One UI, the skin on the S21 on top of Android, has gotten better. The animations are spectacular on One UI, but it lacks consistency when compared to Apple. One UI is better at multitasking in my usage, but iOS is catching up in that. Widgets and app libraries have also arrived on iOS, and it's been a decent amount of time since that happened. Privacy is better on Apple as it asks whether an app can track you or not, more than Android, which sometimes just ignores it. Samsung supported their phones for only 3 years and now are offering 4 years, which is good news, but Apple has been supporting the iPhone 6s for 6 years, so iPhones will definitely be a better value in the long run. Apple has been making the experience between Apple devices as smooth as glass, but Android has caught up. The Your Phone app on Windows 10 makes the experience lovely, with the ability to speak calls, send messages, and accessing S21 apps on your PC. This round is a tie because software mainly depends on whether you like iOS or Android. Now it's time for the final verdict, but before we do that, there is one warning I have to give up with the iPhone 12. The iPhone 12 has MagSafe, which is a magnet on the back of your iPhone for attaching Apple's own MagSafe wallet and for faster wireless charging. Although MagSafe has these perks, it also has potential danger. 1. MagSafe will interfere with some medical devices such as pacemakers or defibrillators, and that can be extremely dangerous for those who use them. If someone uses those medical devices and comes at least 1 foot close to the iPhone 12, their device and health may be affected. Apple also warns that if you place your credit cards, security badges, passports, or key fobs between your MagSafe charger and your iPhone 12, it could cause problems with the RFID chips and magnetic stripes in them, so be beware of both those issues. Now let's get into the verdict. The iPhone 12 has 1 win while the S21 had 3 wins and there were 3 ties. Although this battle was neck and neck in pretty much every round, the winner of this round is the Samsung Galaxy S21. And in the past 8 months, Samsung has proved to me that the S21 is the better one, at least to me who has been using iOS for the past 6 years. I would definitely recommend the Galaxy S21 with some exceptions. These people should get the iPhone 12. 1. If you prefer simplicity over variety in the operating system, iOS is better for you. 2. If you want better processing, maybe for video editing on the move or something similar, the A14 Bionic is a monster. Gamers should decide on whether they want 120Hz on the screen or better processing. 3. If you're into the Apple ecosystem, for example, everything you own is Apple. Your computer is a MacBook, your tablet is an iPad, and you own an Apple Watch and all that, the iPhone 12 is better for you if you plan on keeping all those other devices. 4. If you plan on keeping your phone for a long time rather than trading it in every 2 years, Apple will definitely give updates longer to your iPhone than any Android phone maker will. And 5. If you're active on social media, iPhones tend to have better built social media apps. For example, if you're recording a video inside a social media app, iPhones have crystal clear video quality than its Android equivalent, even if the Android phone has better cameras, and that's just the way it is. If you don't fall into these categories, the S21 is the better value for your money, and it's definitely better for those who use pacemakers, although visiting your health expert is advised. If you plan on making the move from iOS to Android, Samsung has a cool web app called Samsung iTest. Just open this link in the description box on Safari, click on share, and click on add to home screen. Now go to the home screen and open the app to experience One UI's main design on your iPhone. That's it for this video, guys, and thanks for watching.